everyone. I hope you all are doing good. So today we will learn the second chapter, that is atmosphere. As earlier, that is on Monday, I already have given you a question and answers related to this chapter. So today we will discuss about the chapter so that it becomes easier for now you to relate with the answers that I have given you as well as with the lectures that will be delivered today. So atmosphere, what it is? Let's see. An atmosphere is considered to be a blanket of air that surrounds the earth and is extended over 10,000 kilometers. So in simple words, the atmosphere that we are talking about is actually the air that surrounds us. You must be feeling the wind blowing towards your face, or you must be feeling these airs moving around here and there. These all comprises is what we call it atmosphere. So it surrounds the earth completely and is extended to almost 10,000 kilometers. Now this atmosphere is very important to us. It is so important to us in terms of our livelihood because it protects us and the entire earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiations. This harmful ultraviolet rays comes from the sun as in form of insolation. That is the incoming rays of the sun. The light of the sun that passes through it is what we call insolation, and this insolation composed of many impurities. The rays are very harmful. So those harmful rays are radiated back to the space because of atmosphere, and what we get is the purified form of sunlight. So that is why we say that atmosphere is so important to us that it protects the earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiations. So how are we protected? We are protected because of a layer which is present in the atmosphere, and that is known as ozone layer. I have written it O3. This means triatomic form of oxygen. It is the symbol, the chemical symbol for ozone, that is oxygen. We will discuss in much details when we talk about the layers of atmosphere. Now this atmosphere is not just the air that we talk about, but is a mixture. It's a mixture of so many of things. So that is why when we say composition of the atmosphere here, we see there are three important elements that makes up the atmosphere: gases, water vapor, and dust particles. These three makes up the air, that is atmosphere. Now gases, there are many gases in the atmosphere. So we also call the atmosphere as the mixture of gas. But out of these gases that is present in the atmosphere, two is very important. One is nitrogen, which is of the largest amount in the atmosphere with 78%. And the next and the most important one is oxygen, that is 21%. This oxygen is what we breathe in. The air that we breathe in is oxygen. That means it helps us to live. We survive because of the presence of oxygen as well. Now there are also, apart from these two major gases which makes the bulk of the atmosphere, there are other gases which completely makes 1%. And these gases are carbon dioxide, helium, xenon, argon, etc. And also in this 1% comprises the water vapor. Out of this, for us, for human beings and for the living organisms, water and carbon dioxide becomes very important. Carbon dioxide is so important for a plant that it makes its food with the help of it. And water is important to everyone. So this in short is all about the atmosphere that we have. Now this atmosphere that we talk about, that is extended to 10,000 kilometers, is not just one layer. It is divided into 5 different layers. So now we will be talking about the layers of atmosphere here. The layers of atmosphere are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Once again, see the layers of atmosphere: troposphere, this is it; then stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Each of these atmospheric layers are very important in terms of survival of life, and at the same time also for the maintenance of various things that happens on this planet. So first let's talk about troposphere. This troposphere is the lowermost layer of the atmosphere, or we can also say the first layer from the Earth's surface. See, I'm standing here and there is a lot of space around me. This space has air, and that air is of troposphere. This troposphere extends over the poles to 6 to 10 kilometers. Over the poles, the height of the troposphere is 6 to 10 kilometers, while over the equator, the height of the troposphere is almost 12 to 16 kilometers. That means towards the equator, the height of the troposphere is more than the poles. This is because of centrifugal force and also because of the expanding, that is the bulging of the equator because of the rotational speed. While in this layer, troposphere, what is so important about is that the weather phenomenon take place here. Weather changes that we talk about. So like now if we look outside, this is a rainy season. Yesterday if we talk about, it was a sunny day. Today it's almost cloudy. The next day will be windy, or so and so, as it keeps on changing. Sometimes it's very bright sun, sometimes it's all dull a day, and sometimes the winds are very strong. So these all happens within the troposphere. Rain falls, it happens within the troposphere. Strong wind blows, it happens within the troposphere. So that is why we call it a layer of change, that is weather changes phenomenon. Another most important feature here in troposphere is lapse rate. Lapse rate means the temperature decreases with increasing height. That means when we climb higher and higher within troposphere, the temperature tends to decrease. So that is why you must have always learned that hills are cooler than the plains. In summer season, you see the plains are very hot, but hills are very cool and pleasant. That is because of lapse rate. The temperature decreases from the lower region towards the higher region. So this is why troposphere is so important. Now coming to stratosphere, it is the second layer from the Earth's ground or the Earth's surface. It is so called stratosphere because it has layer in it. The stratosphere is divided into two parts. One is the upper stratosphere, the other is the lower stratosphere. But together the height extends to 50 kilometers. The upper layer of stratosphere is very important because it has ozone layer. Like I mentioned earlier, that ozone layer is very important because it helps us in protecting from the ultraviolet radiations of the sun. So this upper layer of stratosphere has ozone layer which protects us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. While in lower layer, it is important because in this part of the lower layer, there is no formations of clouds, so aircrafts can easily fly. Now between this troposphere and stratosphere, I have just drawn a line here. Just to let you know that this line is separating troposphere and stratosphere as per the standard diagram that we are seeing here. So what happens, this line is considered to be a pause. A change that takes place in troposphere completely changes here, and this is known as pause. And then again, whatever changes that takes place in stratosphere, the line between mesosphere and stratosphere, there is a pause. So between every layer there is a pause which completely differentiates one layer from the other. Now we come to mesosphere. Meso means intermediate, that is middle. So this is a layer which is situated right in the middle of the atmospheric layers. Its height extends to 85 kilometers and it's the coldest layer where the temperature reaches almost minus 120 degrees centigrade. This is also a layer where we see that meteors burn. Because of air frictions and resistance, the meteors that meteors are the small celestial object that sometimes happens to travel towards the earth, and since they are small, while they enter the atmosphere they completely get burned because of air resistance and frictions. Now, how to understand a meteor shower? Sometimes you must have seen like a shooting star, and even close your eyes and make a wish. Such is what we call meteors, that when enters the atmosphere it burns in the layers of mesosphere. Then comes the thermosphere. As the term, it's thermo, that means here the temperature is very high, and it extends from 90 degree to almost 1000 kilometers. So this thermosphere is mostly composed of high temperatures because they are the ones to face the sun's rays at first. The last one that we have, exosphere, is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere, which later extends and goes into merging with the interplanetary space. Beyond this, the earth has very less gravity to hold air, so hence we go to space. So here what is there is this exosphere. Here the air is very thin. It is so thin, it is because of gravity. The earth, now if for example within this blackboard you see the height of this blackboard, at the lowermost layer if you see the earth, the uppermost layer here you will find the exosphere. Now whatever you have here, the gravity, that is the gravitational attraction of the earth, here becomes very less, and hence here the air starts expanding further into space. So this is for the day class. I hope you'll get more to learn from this and understand atmosphere in much details. Thank you very much. Have a good day and stay safe and stay home.